Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Paint Table. This is my weekly show where you get to see what I got done, what I'm working on, and what is coming up. So this week it was Speed Freaks, the new 2-player, up to 4-player, sort of like Mad Maxy style racing game featuring orcs from Games Workshop. I also got some bit more work done, just basically airbrushing some base coats down on my expansion for my Caledonians for Infinity, and my Stark Heroes set for Song of Ice and Fire. And then I got some new stuff to check out, which is the new Night's Watch for Song of Ice and Fire, which I'll be working on after I finish these Stark models. And I also kept one of the sprues from the Speed Freaks box of colored plastics for you guys to check out so you can see them too. Let's take a look at the Speed Freaks and then some stuff that's coming up. So here's my half of the Speed Freaks box all painted up. I painted the 6 pieces of terrain, as well as my Wah Boys, which is my my little battle group, my ruck for some Speed Freaks. I painted the Shock Dragsta, and it's got some teleporting action. It's pretty cool. In the game, like if you roll enough speed dice and you get 2 lightning bolts, you generate the 1.61 gigawatts that you need to teleport, and you can place them anywhere than 12 inches facing any direction you want. And literally, the miniature has a flux capacitor in it. You can't really see it, but it's right behind the driver. There's a flux capacitor built into the wall. My favorite Easter egg of the whole thing is that there's a flux capacitor in the Shock Dragsta. Then we got my boy squad here. You can see I painted them up all as Wah Boys, so their half-life is I guess running down, and that's why they're all pale-skinned as opposed to being green and mean. And did them up just standard paint scheme basically for my Mad Maxy style painting. I used the same stuff on Gaslands. Actually, I'll show you. Hang on. I would almost call this the Wasteland car painting style. So it's black primer and then a progressively later gray airbrush is mixed into the black. So like a bit of I use just Tester's cheapo airbrush paint for base coating and stuff, and then lined with some mixtures of different washes and pigments. So I think this was all done with thinned down old snakebite leather and bestial brown, and then just painted the lines and then highlighted again afterwards with some edge highlighting. The skin was Rakarth flesh, highlighted up to, I think it's Sibir, whatever the whitish one is, not Daemonid hide. It's like it's basically a much lighter version of the first one that I just said. Sibrite flesh? No, not Sibrite flesh. It's the pale flesh color from Citadel. I do everything by eyeball. This is why I'm terrible at teaching anyone how to paint, because I can't remember all the names. I can remember paint color names from 30 years ago. I can't remember the current contemporary ones. And then just a variety of details. I used some of that great Eldritch from P3 for all the lenses and stuff. The squig was all painted pretty standard. And then just washed in with thin down greens, all the glowy sort of like energy bits for the guns. The sort of like rusty weathering was all done with some Vallejo weathering pigments, so like the orangey bits in there, painted in afterwards, just thinned down with a bit of medium. And then I did Boiler Black, which is another P3 paint, for the metallics before they were washed, and then edged it with some Stormhost Silver. And I'm pretty happy with it. It's a nice Mad Maxy style, grungy wasteland car, which again, it's basically just stolen from my Gaslands team. And then much the same with the bikes. So when you play, you'll see the Let's Play, of course, linked today. Above, you can see me basically describing how this works. But if you have 3 bikes and any kind of buggy, you're ready to play Speed Freaks. So if your gaming group's going in the box set and you want to check out any of the vehicles, there's rules for all the vehicles in the box. And this was all I needed to play. I gave Owen the other half, which was the Boosta Blasta, and the other 3 bikes. And then I painted up the train. The train was all done with some Rattle Can Brown, dry brush with some silver, washed, weathered with some weathering pigments, like the same thing. It's damaged terrain. You can do 90% of this with dry brushing and washing. It's super easy. And it looks really good. I don't know if there's gonna be rules for this for 40K, but I would imagine there's going to be. Most of the trinkets for any 40K stuff will get released by themselves and then have some kind of special orky thing. I'm betting the scrap piles help the mechs build things up and fix them. But there it is. So that's basically one of the 2 rucks from Speed Freaks, and then the train pack that comes in, and Owen's painting the other one, which you'll see in the Let's Play. And here's an example of the bike frame that came in here. I had 3 war bikes built already, so I just painted the ones I had built. But these are the plastics. They're the exact same plastics that the normal war bikers are, and builds 3 bikes with all the custom bits. And then the other one is in red plastic. That's the Boosta Blasta side that I gave to Owen, as opposed to the bright yellow. So if you don't want to paint your orcs in the Speed Freak box set, you can identify them still and see what is what by the color of the plastic. Other upcoming stuff, I've got my Stark Heroes here. You can see I've just put some airbrushing on them. So Roderick, Summer, and Bran, Eddard, and then the Kranigman Warden, I can't remember his name. Back here we've got good old McMurrow, that's right, my 3rd werewolf for my Caledonians, and a war driver, which will take me to 300 points. And then upcoming, we got to the Night's Watch. I've done nothing other than take them out of the box. These are pre-assembled plastic miniatures in PVC and styrene from Cool Mini or Not. And you get exactly a 40-point army. So this is out of the box, a 40-point army in the starter set. For heroes, you get Jer Mormont as your commander if you want, and then the chief builder back there as an NCU, or I think he's just an NCU, he's not a combat hero, and Maester Aemon as your other NCU. You get Jon Snow, because of course you get Jon Snow. With Ghost, his big wolf, you get 2 captains of the Night Watch, or Night Watch heroes, champions. You get Tina Sworn Brothers. These great sword guys are your basic troops, and they're amazing. They're real good in the game. You get some Rangers, which are a cavalry unit that shoots, and you get some Veterans, which are a really good offense and defensive unit. And this is 40 points altogether, so not bad. 40 points, 7 activations, because you've got Ghost, who goes with Jon whenever you use him, and then you've got your 2 NCUs for 2, so that's grand total of 7, and then your commander models all attached. Every model in the box makes 40, so it's not like it's super variable. You're going to have one list of the box, but there's lots more stuff coming. There's like a Scorpion artillery piece and all kinds of other things too for the Night's Watch. And then the box set itself, pretty cool because it's actually a 1-player starter set. So it comes with everything you need to play. So you don't just get the Night's Watch guys. You get a rule book, you get the cards for all your dudes, you get a full set of dice that are actually specialty Night's Watch dice. They have the symbols on them, which is nice, because the dice that came in that 2-player starter were just kind of standard dice. They weren't like Lannister or Stark. So it's cool you get faction dice, all your tokens, your throne, your intrigue board, and you get, instead of the regular castle, you get the wall, which I thought was pretty nice too. So pretty rad. I'm stoked to check it out. This is my army after I finish the last of the Stark stuff I have to paint, which is my Tullys and these guys. And that's it. That's some stuff that is coming up. All right, so there we go, another on the paint table on the books. I only painted 4 models this week and 6 pieces of terrain, but it was a bit of work, so vehicles take a long time to put together. Yeah, we got lots to go, of course, for the Night's Watch and to finish up my Starks. So if you want to watch the Let's Play for Speed Freaks, you can click the link up here and check out a description of the game, my little review, and some gameplay. And other than that, we'll see you next week for another On the Paint Table. I'm Ash. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below so you get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirts, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.